What do you think about owning a condo unit at the tallest building in an area? And it is near the MRT station, a good school, big shopping mall, the Singapore River lifestyle, and close to the central business district. We are talking about Promenade Peak. It sounds very good, but what are the downsides? And is the price reasonable to allow for an easy exit if the buyer wants to move on and cash out profits to down pay and upgrade to the next property? Stay tuned to find out more. Hi, I'm Khai. I help my clients in property planning and investments and share my experiences and analysis in this channel to help more people have a better understanding of the property market. Promenade Peak is just down here, next to Great World City and Great World MRT station. In this area, there are actually 5 upcoming plots. 4 are already awarded, and there's one more River Valley Plot C that's under the GLS reserve list. Promenade Peak is the first of 2 units to be launched now. The other one will be River Green by Wing Thai. And it is the River Valley Plot A, which is here. So together with this Promenade Peak at Zion Road Plot B, they are launching together. The main differences between the River Green and Promenade Peak is that Promenade Peak is a 63-story building, whereas the River Green is only up to 36-story. And River Green units are generally smaller for each of the bedroom types. For the differences between these two, I might have a follow-up video. So do like and subscribe to my channel and get notified if it comes up. Or you can contact me at the contact below and we can meet up for a detailed discussion. For Promenade Peak, we will go through the project information, the location, the transformations in the area, the floor plan analysis, and the price analysis. The project information. This project is by All Green, and the address is very nice, 1 Zion Promenade. Okay. There are a total of 596 units and 477 car park lots. The unit mix. We have a range of 1 bedroom plus study up to 5 bedroom, and we also have 2 penthouses, which are very big sized at 4,144 square feet. Take note that 1 to the 3 bedroom units are only from the level 1 up to 42. And above this, they actually combine different units to make a bigger units, more premium, bigger size. Example, maybe they have combined two bedroom units to make it into a 4 bedroom units on the higher floors, which we call the Promenade Suites. And the lower part we call the Promenade Collection, from here to here. Has any developers done this kind of thing before? One which come to mind, which is Queen's Peak. Okay, coincidentally, both condos have the word peak in the names. Queen's Peak is next to Commonwealth MRT station. Okay, this is one of the floor plan that I pull out. This is a 4 bedroom unit. This is a combination of a 3 bedroom and a 2 bedroom unit. Okay, so this kind of combining units, sometimes the floor plan might have some problems. So example for this, you can see straight away that for a big 4 bedroom unit, the bedrooms are very small. You can see here. That's one. Secondly, the kitchen feels very narrow because it's like a narrow tunnel. And you don't really feel very good. It's very enclosed. It doesn't feel very good in this kitchen. Other thing about this is that the living space actually is like a Z shape. So for the floor space that they give for the living space, actually it feels much smaller because they are partitioned into different compartments. So how does this affect the prices in future? So look at this. Commonwealth Tower, which is 2 years older compared to Queen's Peak, actually the selling price are all slightly higher. And the thing is that Commonwealth Tower is actually a bit further away from the MRT station. It should be here. And furthermore, the rental yield is actually also better than Queen's Peak. So sometimes when we have this kind of odd layouts, we have to be careful. So in the floor plan analysis, we will look at what's happening in Promenade Peak to have a better idea whether this will be an issue. Okay, who are the developer and the consultants? The developer is All Green, which a lot of people are familiar with. Some of the condo they have is a Pasir Ris 8, which is sold pretty well. Okay, other projects are Great World, Pasir Ris Mall, Tanglin Mall, and they have some service apartment in Singapore. And they have all these BCA awards. So we know that they are not a fly-by-night developer for people who are not familiar. For the architects, we have DCA architects. They are award-winning architects. They actually done a lot of projects, including Skywater Residence, Marina Bay Financial Centre. For the main con, we have Wohab, household name in Singapore, so I don't think there's much to worry about. So these are all the projects they had done in Singapore, which is a lot. Some other examples. One of the main draw about this project is that it is very tall. It is 63 stories. Let's take a look at some of the drone view and aerial view. So we are here, just take a look. So I just want to quickly share the master plan. Promenade Peak is here, the plot ratio is 5.6. The rest of the plots in the surrounding are lower, except for the Zion Road plot A. So this one is also 56. So the building height is about the same. So we have two very high buildings down here. And that's why I think the developer actually priced the south-facing units at a lower price. This is not confirmed. When the price is out on the day, then we'll know. So for most people, if we are concerned about view, might have to avoid the south-facing units. So we can see here, those to the east are about 30-story high. To the west, generally they are lower. Okay, north is about 35 for Great World. So south, actually, we are looking at Zion Grand, which is also 60 plus stories. So for the eastward facing view, is very nice. You can see towards Marina Bay Sands and the CBD area. So the south is probably going to be blocked when Zion Grand is built up. But from here, we can see Sentosa Island and the southern ridges. The building might not block the full view, but this one is something that we cannot guarantee. But the good thing is, because both projects will be completed very close to each other, so I don't think there will be an issue with having to sell the unit after TOP and you get construction noise from the next door. This one is the northward facing. You can see Dempsey, very nice greenery view. The orchard is here. Okay, so for the west facing, you get some green pocket view currently until they are built up. You can also see Dempsey from here. Very nice view. So the north and the northeast and the west actually have very good views for this condo. Promenade Peak will be a very iconic building in this area because it's one of the tallest in the area. So you can see, and it's also the tallest prefab residential tower in Singapore. So what is the advantage of being the tallest building in the area? You can swim on the level 64, so you don't need to spend money and travel to go to MBS to swim in the infinity pool at MBS. At level 43, there's also a very nice gym with a lot of nice amenities. So we have the boxing zone, the calisthenic zone, the climbing zone, the strength zone, the plyometric zone, and the functional zone. There's also a place where maybe you can do a sprint. One of the things we use to evaluate is whether there's a SML. So for school-wise, we have River Valley Primary School, which is within 1 kilometer. You can imagine bringing your kids to school early in the morning and walking through this park connector to the school and having a short jog before going home to prepare for work, which is very nice. An MRT station is actually only 2 minutes away for Great World. The next one will be Havelock, which is a bit further, but it's still only 4 minutes walk. These are very convenient, so when you step out of the door, if you feel that north is more auspicious for you, you just go to Great World. If you feel that south is more auspicious, you just go to Havelock MRT station. Great World is here, so we are here. So you can see we are in the central of Singapore, and going everywhere is convenient if you are taking an MRT or driving. So for more, we have the Great World City, and also Ion is about 10 minutes drive away. Besides the malls, we also have award-winning food options. We have 2 Michelin stores in the food center beside. A lot of people will be familiar with them. They will be the Char Kway Teow and the Kway Chap. So you can see here in this map, we are also very near to the Central Business District work area. We are near to Vivo City. You can go to Sentosa very easily. The shopping belt, okay, the recreational areas, Dempsey and Holland Village. So what are the transformation in this area? Okay, one of them will be the Pearl Hill transformation. There are going to be future residential and white sites in the area, which is already planned for. You can see all this empty plot currently. So there will be mixed-use development. The thing about government now is that when they have a new area they are going to develop, they are not just going to do purely residential. Most of the time, they are going to do a lot of mixed-use developments. So there will be more amenities, and this will improve the desirability of the area. The next one is the Patterson Road area. There will also be new homes. There's a white site here. So we are going to have some retail element, and it's going to bring up the desirability of the area. So we are here. So north and south, we are also going to have a good development. And in the Patterson area, people are already accepting more than 3,200 per square feet. In future, maybe the Outram Park area, the Pearl Hill area, we don't know what are the price going to be, but it's likely going to be higher price because generally the land bid price will be higher as the years go by. Now, Let's move on to the perspectives. The facade of the building mimics the situation whereby the water actually dissolves up into the building. So the pixel, you can see the coloring actually change from darker to lighter as we go up. What the architects actually want to do is to actually break up the straight vertical lines so that it doesn't seem so imposing. So this is another angle. These are some of the facilities. We have a 50-meter lap pool, a spa cove, a play pool, promenade bar besides the swimming pool. There's a club. There's a canopy area for chilling out. At level 22, there's a social peak. This is a place where actually you can meet up with people. For example, now work from home is very popular. If you want to meet someone from work in a less formal setting, you can actually invite them to come to your condo and meet them at this level 22 social peak, where it's a slightly more casual meetup and it still offers a very good view and a talking point. Some of the cabanas in the level 22. There's a wellness peak. There is a spa area, yoga area, and the gym. At the wellness peak area in level 43, we have the boxing zone, we have the calisthenic zone, the climbing zone, the strength zone, the plyometric zone, the functional zone, and a place where you can do some sprinting. And from level 43, you can see we have a very good view of the city. This can really help to motivate you to do more exercise, because exercise is the easiest way to keep healthy as we age. You can see the gym equipment here. They are by Symbio. This is a very high-end branded equipment brand. Okay, this is the Sky Pool, Sky Deck that we mentioned before. This is the Infinity Pool at level 64. So you can come here instead of paying money to go to MBS. Some features of the house. We have a smart parcel locker, which is very convenient if we have parcel. So nowadays, most of the condo come with keyless letterbox already. Now we come to floor plan comparison. Promenade is actually divided into two sections. The lower floor below 43, we have the Promenade collection, whereby the sizes are from 1 plus study to 3-bedroom compact. For the Promenade suites, which is the bigger unit, they start from 44th floor to 63. All the units come with private lift, and sizes are from 3-bedroom premium to 5 bedrooms. Let's start with the Promenade collection, which is 42 level and below. So this side is the east view towards Marina Bay and CBD. This one is the south view. Below is the south view towards the Sentosa. On the left is the west view towards some green pockets and the Dempsey Hill. Northwards will be, on the top, will be towards Orchard Road and Botanical Gardens. There are two layouts for the 1 plus study, namely AS1 and AS2. They are very similar. One thing to take note of is AS2 comes with a window in the toilet. And also the kitchen is a bit more squarish compared to AS1, which is like a long corridor. So I actually prefer the more squarish layout in the AS2 because the whole place will look much bigger and usage of space is much more efficient. So generally, I will actually prefer AS2 over the other one because the space usage is more convenient and there's a window in the toilet. Both face towards the eastward towards Marina Bay Sands and the CBD. So in front of them actually is around 30 plus stories. So most of the units will actually be blocked unless you are looking at the top few floors. So if you want a good view, you need to really go very close to 42. There are 5 2-bedroom units. We'll break up into the 3 smaller ones and the other 2 slightly bigger one to compare. For the 3 smaller layout, we have B1, B2 and B3 down here. Facing wise, B1 and B2 are northwards towards Great World City. B3 actually is south view towards Sentosa Island currently, but the view will likely be blocked by Zion Grand. The layout are mostly very similar except for the entrance and kitchen area. Generally, I feel that B2 is a bit too narrow, so the place will look a bit more claustrophobic. So this will not be my ideal layout. The other 2 are very similar, actually doesn't really matter. Only thing is the south view will look up into a 62 or 63 story Zion Grand. So it might be a bit imposing for some people. There's something to consider. The other thing to take note is that if you are something into feng shui, B3 actually the entrance open up to another door, which is the balcony door. Whereas B1, when you're coming from the main door, you need to turn to see the balcony door. So it's like L shape. So I don't think there's any much difference. And one thing to take note of is if you're buying for investment and your finances is a bit tight and really need to sell at TOP, I suggest not to look at the south view unit in case the construction for this development is delayed. So if you're trying to sell and it's facing a construction site, you might have some issue trying to offload at TOP. The other 2-bedroom units, which are just slightly bigger, B4 and B5, they are pretty similar. The main difference is the B4 main door will face the balcony, whereas the B5 is L-shaped. And B4 actually faces west, which is the Dempsey Hill area, and there are some green pockets. B5 actually faces the south. If the prices are similar, I prefer you to take the west view because there are some green pockets, and so lesser of the view will be blocked until the building in front comes up. And the south view will be blocked by Zion Grand when it comes up. Let's move on to the 2+ study. For the 2+ study, there are 3 layouts: BS1, BS2, and BS3. So the main difference is BS1 and BS2, we have like a zigzag entrance, whereas BS3, we have more of a straight entrance. I prefer the straight one because layout like that actually are more efficient and you can have more cabinets against the wall. The other thing to take note is BS2 toilet actually face the front, whereas the BS1 toilet face the side. Generally, I will prefer the toilet to face the front because airflow will generally be a bit better. Both of these units actually face east, but for BS1, the toilet actually is north facing. So generally, for north facing, we get a bit more wind. It's better to air the toilet for this. I feel that this is a preferred layout if you are choosing between the two with a zigzag entrance. But if you don't like zigzag entrance, you can take the BS3, which is the south facing one. For the 3 compact, we have C1 and C2 here. They are very similar. The main difference will be the balcony, the kitchen, and the living space. The balcony for C1 is a longish type. For C2 is a bit more squarish. Normally, I prefer a more squarish balcony because then we have the option to put in a small table and have a small dining table or chair versus a longish balcony whereby normally you can only place a chair that is facing outwards and there's not enough space to put a table in front. Living space-wise, they are pretty similar. C1 is slightly bigger. For kitchen, actually C2 is bigger, more squarish compared to C1. I really like this kitchen more, but the only downside is that this kitchen is actually beside a bedroom 3 down here. This creates an issue whereby the feng shui master will tell them that don't have a bedroom that is beside a kitchen. And the other thing I want to add is if you're looking at 2+ study on a higher floor, the price might be very similar to a 3-bedroom unit. If the budget allow, for example, if you pay $100,000 or even $200,000 more for a proper 3-bedroom unit, is it worth it? So generally, it's only on the ground that we can advise carefully on all this. So let's move on to the floor plan for Promenade Suites. We start from the 3-bed premium. The layouts are pretty similar, except for the kitchen. CP2 kitchen is bigger compared to CP1, which is a bit more longish type. So I actually like the CP2 kitchen much more. One other thing is that CP1, the door, actually will directly face the balcony door. There are some people who don't like this. So if they don't like this, you can take CP2 whereby the door is not facing each other. Earlier on, I mentioned that the premium units are a combination of the lower floor, smaller units. So sometimes the layout might be affected. But for this condo, the layout are indeed affected, but it's still minimal. So the main thing will be the living space become like an L shape rather than a big rectangular space which will look much bigger. And the dining table here, being here, will be a bit darker because the light doesn't really travel this way. These are not a very big issue because even nowadays, there are other condos which are having similar kind of layout. Okay, let's move on to the 4-bedroom premium units. Now for the 2 4-bedroom premium units, both have private lift, 1421 square feet, DP1 and DP2. They are very similar, only the kitchen are a bit different. We still have the L-shaped living space, but this one is actually much better than the 3 premium L-shape because the dining table is actually next to the balcony. We have the 3rd type of 4-bedroom premium unit. This is actually my favorite. It is also the bigger one. The living and the dining room is actually very big and squarish and very comfortable for a big family. Especially when you have 4 bedrooms, generally the families are quite big and the kitchen becomes quite important. Okay, for the 5-bedroom premium on the left here, it's very similar to the 4-bedroom premium units, just that everything becomes a bit bigger and there's one more bedroom. Take note that we have this Jack and Jill bathroom for these 2 bedrooms and all the bedrooms are en suite, which is not easy to find nowadays. So these are all the bedroom types. Okay, now we've gone through all the floor plan layouts. Next, one question that you might have is that, is the price attractive? Is it a good price to enter? Now, because River Green and Promenade Peak is launching at the same time, I will show you the starting price for both developments. Generally, River Green units are smaller, so for people with a bit more budget in terms of the quantum, you can actually look at River Green. Promenade Peak, generally the sizes are bigger, so there are slightly different kind of products. It really depends on what kind of unit you are looking at. For River Green, the 3 and 4 bedroom units quantum are actually quite good as compared to the Promenade Peak. But Promenade Peak units are bigger. It really depends on the kind of product. And Promenade Peak actually goes up to 60 over stories high. So if you really want the high unit and unblocked view, you can only look at Promenade Peak. Now, Let's take a look at how these prices compare with the resale prices in the area. So here we have Riviera. For the 2-bedroom units, it has already touched 3,000 per square feet. And for Quantum, you have 2.5 million. So if you compare it with the Promenade Peak, for the 2-bedroom, we are actually looking at 2,700 over per square feet and starting from 1.8 million. For multi-modern, 2-bedroom units, we are really looking at 2.3 and 2.4, whereas for Promenade Peak, we are looking at starting price of 1.8 and 2.1 respectively for the 2-bedroom and the 2+ study. For the 3-bedroom, we are actually looking at per square feet of 2,009 for multi-modern and 2.9 Quantum, which is very similar to the 3-bedroom in Promenade Peak, but the per square feet actually is a bit lower for Promenade Peak. Let's look at a slightly newer condo, which is Well Hill, which just recently TOP. The 1-bedroom units actually are transacted already around 1.2 to 1.6. Whereas for Promenade Peak, even the 2-bedroom unit starts from 1.8. If you look at the Promenade Peak 1+ study, the Quantum starts from 1.4 onwards. But this is bigger than the 1-bedroom in Well Hill. For 2-bedroom, the average transacted price for Well Hill is actually 1.8 to 2 million. An average of about 2,800 per square feet pre-harmonized. Whereas for 2-bedroom in Promenade Peak, we are looking at 1.8 onwards Quantum and 2,700 onwards per square feet. And this is a post-harmonized per square feet. We can see that the 1 and 2-bedroom prices in Promenade Peak has a very competitive per square feet. Now let's look at the bigger units because there's not a lot of transaction. Let's look at what happened in Well Hill in 2022. The 4-bedroom units are transacted from 4 million onwards. And in Promenade Peak, actually, we are also looking around the same Quantum. In future, any buyer who will, in future, so they are around the same pricing. So in future, let's say a buyer who wants to buy in the area, when they compare Well Hill and Promenade Peak, one of the things they'll look at is the age of this condo. And generally, if the product is similar, which is the case, the newer one actually can fetch a bit of a higher price. So we can see upside here. We have looked at Promenade Peak's pricing compared to the surrounding. Now let's look at how they compare with the other areas like in the OCR, outside Central Region, and the RCR, rest of Central Region. Ori in Toa Payoh has already hit 3,000 per square feet. Elta in Clementi has already hit 2,008 per square feet. For Grand Diamond in Dakota, prices actually already hit 2,009 per square feet. And we are still looking at 2006 onwards for Promenade Peak. And if you look at the 2-bedroom transactions, prices starts from 1.9 onwards to 2.2, whereas for Promenade Peak, we are looking at 1.8 onwards. Grand Diamond and Promenade Peak are pretty similar. Both have school, MRT, and are on a large floor plate. But the only difference is that Promenade Peak actually has a very big mall beside it, which is a very plus point for people who wants to live in this condo. So if new launch buyers are able to pay 2,009 for Grand Diamond, why wouldn't they consider Promenade Peak, which is at a similar pricing? Next, we look at Chuan Park in Lorong Chuan. The 2+ study is above 2 million, which is very similar to the Quantum for Promenade Peak. If you think about it, if you are paying the same price for Lorong Chuan and a District 3 condo, which is 2 minutes to Great World City and 1 stop to Orchard, is there a very good chance that someone will choose Promenade Peak? In the area, we actually have a shortage of large format homes, mainly because there's limited supply. When there is a limited supply, it actually makes sense to enter into this category. Let's look at the past 10 transactions of the large unit, the 4 bedrooms in the Avenue. We are already hitting 3,006 and 3,007, and this is a pre-harmonized per square feet. Compared to Promenade Peak, we are looking at 4-bedroom that will start from $3,150, and this is a post-harmonized. If we correct it to a pre-harmonized rate, it's about 2,900 plus per square feet. We can see here the prices for the 4-bedroom in Avenue, the Quantum, is actually very similar to the 5-bedroom in Promenade Suite. So for the same price at Promenade Peak, we can actually upgrade to a 5-bedroom unit. This is a table of the prices of the different bedroom types in the different condos in the area of Promenade Peak. You can see for 1-bedroom unit, the prices are very similar to Promenade Peak, which is a brand new condo. For the 2-bedroom, we are looking at the same things happening. For the 3 compact sizes, we can see that actually Promenade Peak is starting at the lower end of the range. Moving on to the 3-bedroom larger units, we are looking at around 4 mil to 5 mil plus, whereas Promenade Peak is only starting from 3.6 to 4.1 million. Now let's move on to the 4-bedroom units. The 4-bedroom units in the area actually prices starts from 4 plus and even reach 9 mil. We see a lot of the units actually are going from 5 plus million to 6 plus million. To contrast that with Promenade Peak, the prices start from 4.4 million. And for the 5-bedroom units in Promenade Peak, 6.2 million to 7 million. The prices are very similar to the 4-bedroom resale units in the area. So essentially, you can pay at the same price and you get a better unit, a 5-bedroom unit instead of a 4-bedroom unit for Promenade Peak. So let's quickly run through the accepted pricing in the different condos. Okay, Awell Hill, actually the highest they already reached 3,003. The Rivera 2-bedroom unit also already touched 2,009. Let's look at how the big units at Martin Modern perform. We can see over a period of 4 to 8 years, this unit actually already made a 1 million profit, which is really, really very good. Let's come back to this slide that shows the summary of all the prices in the area. So generally, we can see Promenade Peak pricings are actually very competitive with even the resale units in the area, not to mention the new ones in other places. Now, let's look at the summary of Promenade Peak. First, it has a good school nearby. There's 2 MRT stations nearby. There's a very nice mall in the form of Great World City. It's a large floor area so that we have very good amenities. It's in a very central area. The building is really, really iconic. It's going to be among the tallest in this area. And the price, which is the main thing, is really, really very good. Okay, this wraps up my review of Promenade Peak. This project looks very good. But before making any impulsive purchase, do remember to plan your finances carefully. Example, loan eligibility and fund flow, so that you can sit back and relax after the purchase. And if you need professional advice to choose a good unit to live in and still have good opportunity for capital appreciation, do contact me at the numbers below. Once again, I'm Khai. See you soon.